Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. We are from Group 12. Today we are going to explain what we had done for this subject, Introduction to Civil Engineering. Let me introduce my team members. First, Wan Nur Wahiyah binti Wan Zaidi. Second, Teng Kok Ming. Third, Ang Wei Liang. Fourth, Amirul Aiman bin Abu Sa'id Al-Qadri. Okay, let's go with the explanation of the assignments.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. My name is Wan Nur Wahiyah binti Wazaidi and I'm going to talk about the first assignment assigned to K1S2 students, which is discussing on issues of civil engineering related to geological, geotechnical and transportation engineering. This assignment required us to elaborate some issues that we always face due to civil engineering activities, but more specific to three aspects, which is geological, geotechnical, and transportation engineering. So here I got one of the slides from Group 11 in K1S2. So there have been a lot of issues of this problem occurred in Malaysia, and some of the common issues are landslide, great flood, and effect to building materials. So here we start with giving simple explanation on tropical climate. Then we go to the first issue, landslide. Here we list out the causes of landslide and explain the influence principle precipitation on landslide. Second issue is about great flood, and same with the first issue, we evaluate the reason of the occurrence of great flood in our country and list out places with great potential for flooding and so on. Last issue is about effect of tropical climate to building material, whether it is long-term or effect or short-term effect. So we can see that this assignment is just the simple one compared to the second assignment given to K1S2 students. This assignment is also more open and not too specific, which leads students to develop their own ideas and creativity as well as their own efforts based on the studies. I think that's all from me. I will pass to the second presenter.
I'm Teng Kok Ming. Now I will talking about what is structural engineering. Structural engineering is a subfield of civil engineering. Structural engineering is designing the building with the cell wave itself to make sure it does not spill down. Hence, structural engineering must be familiar with the calculations of stiffness, strength, stability, and earthquake susceptibility for the construct structures for building and non-building. In another word, assume the human as a building. Architecture is designing the overall visions of the humans, but the structural engineering is designing the structure system of the humans such as bone, muscle, and ligaments to make sure the building does not fall down. What is the structure system of a building? It is a system that involves securing the component of the system and transferring the load via the member of a cost-effective structure to ensure safety and stability. There are four types of structural system of the building, such as shell system, load and bearing system, tensile and cable system, and skeleton structure system. First, the shell system is a thin curved membrane of a slab and is used as both structure and conveying membrane. They can retain their form and bear loads without the assistance of a frame or solid mass material. Allow for the span of large area without the need for internal support. Besides, the load is carried vertically downwards through the wall in a load-bearing structure system. The load from the roof and the floor are transferred through the wall, which must then transfer this load as well as weight to the soil. Typically, Load-bearing structure system is used for low-rise residential construction made of masonry. After that, the tensile and cable structure is made up of exclusively tension-carrying part with neither compression nor bending. A cable system in a long-span construction that is prone to corrosion. Suspension cables are used to support the tensions. Typically, this system is used in bridges. Lastly is the skeleton structural system. There are 4 types of skeleton structural systems such as beam and column system, truss, arch, and frame. Beam and column system function as a single unit, transporting the load from the slab to the beam, then to the column, and finally resisting another horizontal load such as a quick and wind loss. The root and floor slab are conveyed to the wall or columns via the beams down to the foundations and finally to the supporting down to the earth. The assignment that I have done for the structural engineering is the building, which is 3 stories. The building is the block H of SMK Sultan Ibrahim, and its structural system is the skeleton structural system with the beam and column system were used for the building. This is the architectural drawing and the structural drawing. Besides, I have learned that the building have the 4 basic structural elements such as footing, column, slab, and beam. First, the footing is the foundations in the elements of a structure, which is constructed with concrete or brickwork masonry and become the base to connect the floor columns and floor wall to transfer the weight from the structures to the ground. The main functions of the footing is transferring the vertical loads directly to the soil. Secondly, the column is the compression member. This because column in the structural engineering is the structural elements that transmit the load and weight from the ceiling, roof, slab, and beams to the soil by compressions. Generally, the column is made of concrete and steel. Besides, the beam is a horizontal component in the building, which is a structural element that resists load that are applied laterally to the axis of beam. It is primarily mode of deflections in bending. Reaction of force are generated at the beam support points because it lost all the force operated on the beam result in shear force and bending moments within the beam, which cause internal stress, strain, and deflections in the beam. Beams are distinguished by their support method, profile, equilibrium condition, length, and material. Lastly, the slab is a structural element that is used to produce flat and functional surface such as floor, roof, and ceiling. It is a horizontal structural component with parallel or nearly parallel to the top and the bottom. Slabs are commonly supported by the beam, concrete or steel columns, wall, or the ground. In my opinion, structural engineering is not just about designing and structuring the system of the building. Their obligation and responsibility are to protect everyone in the building and make sure they are safe in the building all the time. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Ang William from K1S2. The topic that I have chosen to discuss in this video is Water Resources Engineering. Before getting into the topic, let us understand what is water. Actually, water is an inorganic substance that composed of 2 elements, which are hydrogen and oxygen. It is colorless, odorless, and transparent liquid under normal temperature and pressure. Water covers about 71% of the Earth's surface, and 97% of it can be found in the oceans. Water plays an important role in people's daily life, and it is an essential resource on which all life depends. For example, we need to drink water in order to replace the lost water. We need water to bathe, wash clothes, and wash away all things. Besides, we also need water to cook food and make drink. Obviously, water is really important, so we should all cherish it and save it. Water Resources Engineering is the study and management of equipment, facilities, and technology used to manage and protect life's most abundant resources. Water Resources Engineer need to know how to plan, design, operate, and manage many types of water systems and structure that depend on quantity, quality, timing, and distribution of water. in order to fulfill the need of human and also environment. Their responsibility include surface and groundwater system, preservation and enhancement of the natural river and watershed environment, design and construction of water control facility, and the end, water conservation. There are two types of water resources system, namely water control system and water use system. To quote you some example, water control system including drainage, flow protection, water supply, salinity control, sediment control, reduce pollutions, as well as ship navigation. On the other hand, water use system including water distribution system, wastewater treatment system, wastewater collection system, irrigation system, and also hydroelectric power system. Apart from that, as a water resources engineer, he or she must have knowledge of global water resources, hydrological cycle, and watershed. In the term of global water resources, the Earth had about 1.3 billion cubic kilometers of water, of which 97.5% is source water and the remaining 2.5% is fresh water. In addition, water resources engineers have to know and understand the process of hydrological cycle such as transpiration, precipitation, infiltration, evaporation, condensation, and so on. Furthermore, they also need to know the meaning and type of watershed. As we all know, a watershed is an area of land that direct rainfall and snowmelt to creek, stream, and river, and finally to our 4 points such as bay, ocean, and reservoir. There are two types of watershed, which are natural watershed and developed watershed, both of which are closely related to water cycle. Finally, as a water resources engineer, learning coastal engineering is also a must. In coastal engineering, we can learn how to distinguish coastal zone, understand what is coastal hydrodynamic, and know the formation of coastal erosion and its series of protection strategy. For instance, coastal erosion protection strategy include construction of seawall and revetment. In addition, bridge nourishment is also a vital strategy. For assignment part, here are the content requirements for the assignment. Next, let us take a look at some of the assignment the students have completed. The first question is, in a water-related system, discuss how a single small action may have a big environmental impact and provide an example. The second question asks students to provide one example of problem in watershed that caused by human activity and suggest how to minimize and eliminate it. Besides, the third question asks students to think about the expertise involved based on the statement given and briefly describe each of their roles. The next question is, what are coastal force and coastal physical characteristics that interact and react to move sediment along and across shoreline? And explain how change in any existing interaction parameter can create imbalance that could lead to coastal erosion and excretion. The last question asks students to suggest how the Malaysian public can help to reduce and mitigate water-related problems.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone, my name is Amirul Aiman bin Abu Sa'al Al-Qadri. Today I am going to explain what we have done for our assignments and what we have learned regarding environmental engineering. What is environmental engineering? It is about global warming, environmental impact, environmental sustainability, environmental management, and others. Okay, now let's start with the assignments. For the assignments, we have 3 questions. Question 1, we need to produce a trend line curve that show our family water consumption for 2021. It might be slightly different for each family about water consumption in a day. So it might be higher from January, then decrease to February, and decrease to March, and increase back to April. It depends on how we use water in a day. Like we say, from July to October, it's decrease continuous from each month to each. Then for October to November, it's increase drastically and then drop for December. Okay, that's all for question 1. For question 2, we need to determine how much water that we use for shower, laundry, and cooking. Approximately, that my family will use about 403 volume of water for shower, laundry, and cooking, in a year for 2021. Therefore, I will be use about 100.75 volume of water in the year. That's all for question 2. Okay, for question 3, it asks you again to produce a trend line curve that show our family energy consumption for year 2021. So like we see from the trend line curve, it doesn't have a huge difference between each month. So like we see about from August to December, it like a slightly difference about decreasing from that month. Okay, that's all for question 3.